Hi, I'm Alton Brown, creator, writer, host, guy to blame for the show called Good Eats on the Food Network. I'm also a New England Culinary Institute graduate, class of 1997, and odds are if you're watching this tape, you're at least considering a culinary education. And one of the first questions you probably ought to ask yourself is, does anybody actually need a culinary education in order to go into the food service industry? And I have to say the answer is kind of yes and no. And let's face it, you don't have to go to school to learn how to operate a fry machine or even work on the line at a lot of different restaurants in America, or a lot of places that'll train you themselves. And you could certainly go to work for a fine restaurant, if you're really young, and work your way up slowly, very slowly. But I think the bigger question here is, what is the food service industry today? And the question only has one answer. It's almost anything. 10 years ago, it was restaurants, hotels, management. But today, the sky's really the limit. Food connects to everything in our lives, and because food connects to everything, everything connects to food careers. I'm a perfect example. I wanted to make a television show about food. I was a filmmaker, and I knew a little bit about food, but not nearly enough to educate other people. And so I looked for a culinary education, knowing that I was going to do something non-traditional. But the truth is that today, and certainly in the years to come, there are going to be a lot of opportunities for research chefs, people developing new foods, a lot of laboratory work, and in a lot of these arenas, a lot of the corporate, industrial, commercial arenas, people that have culinary backgrounds are going to be very, very, very valuable. I see this all the time with the corporations that I do consulting work for. There'll be scientists there, people with engineering degrees, physics degrees, chemistry degrees, but they still need people with a culinary background. And if you've already got a college degree, say even an advanced degree in one of the sciences, being able to back that up with a culinary background is incredibly valuable thing. And I see this all the time now. So whether you want to be a food writer, you want to make television shows about food the way I do, you want to be a food critic, you want to run a restaurant, or simply manage say a chain of catering organizations, a culinary background is going to do you a lot of good there. Why NECI? I can only talk about my own decision to go to NECI, and it's a decision that I have to say I'm pretty grateful for every day. I was a very aggressive student. I was older at the time. I was like 30-something, we'll leave it at that. But I wanted a very aggressive education, and NECI offers, at the time, they offered the AOS program, which is basically a 2-year program. They have the bachelor's program now. But I'd already been to college, and so I really just wanted a very, very intense culinary school, kind of like medical school. And that's exactly what NECI offered me. They offered small classrooms, real-world learning, everything you cook when you go to New England Culinary Institute, almost everything, as long as you don't mess it up too bad, gets served to real paying people. And that's kind of like being in a, well, I had a friend that one night turned to me and said, this is just like medical school. You are learning in the real world. It's like a teaching hospital. When you're a student at a teaching hospital, you're working on real patients. And at NECI, you're constantly serving the real public. That means you're already going to be used to the real world when you go out in it. You're not going to be surprised by things. You very rarely hear about NECI students going out on internship or out on their jobs and being surprised by, oh gosh, I didn't know Saturday nights could be like this. Because you've already lived them. You've learned in those environments, those real world environments. So it's kind of like having on-the-job training in a lot of ways. And yet, I think what makes New England Culinary Institute special is that the instructors never forget who their clientele really is. As a student, you are the customer. You are the paying customer. You are there. You've made an investment in your future by getting an education, and not a cheap education, I might add. And I don't think the faculty or the staff ever forget that. Knowing what I know now, would I go to NECI again? Absolutely. I would absolutely go to NECI again. I was proud to get into NECI, frankly. I wasn't sure I would when I filled out my applications. I was proud to get accepted, to be accepted, and I was proud to be there while I was there. I felt I was in the right place for me. I'm aggressive, ornery sometimes. I pushed my instructors around a lot to get more out of them, and they gave it, and they pushed back. And oddly enough, I don't have any instructors from my college days that I'm still in contact with, but I am in contact with a lot of the people that I worked with and was educated by at New England Culinary.